What up, everybody? What is up? What is good? And what is Poppington? It is your girl, True Mystique, and welcome back to another rendition of the Black Tapes. For those of you who are new here and who aren't sure what the Black Tapes is all about, the Black Tapes is just simply my critique on Black American culture through a critical lens. Now, this episode is a continuation of yesterday's Destiny Harrison episodes. So I do encourage you guys to go listen to it if you haven't done so already. It's a really powerful message that I said in that video that I think a lot of people need to hear. I talk about a lot of truths that I feel that people in our community purposely shy away from, that we can't ignore any longer. So please do me a favor if you haven't done so already. Go check that out. Go show that podcast episode some love. But like I said, it's a continuation of the conversation from yesterday. It came on my mind, and I'm like, I don't think that it really encapsulated what Black people need and what Black people as a whole, as a collective, need to ditch and need to leave behind in 2020 in order for us to get anywhere, in order for us to see any type of improvement, personal and as a collective. But before I start, I just want to also let you guys know that I do see a couple of new subscribers that we have here today. So thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Yesterday's video garnered me a couple more subscribers, and so far, I think the last time I checked, I had 141 views on the Destiny Harrison episode. So I thank you guys so much for checking me out. I thank you guys so much for taking the time out to listen and taking the time out to respond and react to it in such a great manner. Listen, any type of growth here on the channel is very, very appreciated. And any type of support that you can give and you have been given is appreciative. Now, the Destiny Harrison episode was not the first episode that I had. I actually have 5 more episodes, but for the meanwhile, they're just unlisted. And maybe sometime in the future, I will put them back on public. But for right now, yeah, that's what it is. So I'm just looking at the avenue that I want to take with this channel, this podcast. I'm just looking for, the direction I want to go in it. That's all. So I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time because I do find myself being a person that likes to go on tangents a lot, and I like to be very long-winded, but I also want to get to the point. So let's get back into the swing of things, okay? Now, the word accountability, I feel, was the most underused and underutilized word of the year, especially as it pertains to Black people. Now, I know a lot of y'all know exactly what I am talking about. Even some of you guys commented yesterday that there is no accountability in the Black community. And the reason why Black people can't prosper is because we don't hold ourselves accountable for the harmful things that we do to each other. And like I said before, if we want to get anywhere as a people, if we want to make any type of headway, any type of progress, do anything big, we need to leave that type of degeneracy and that type of low level thinking back in 2019. We cannot afford to bring that type of behavior and that type of mentality with us into the new decade. 2020 needs to be better. 2020 needs to be brighter. In 2020, we need to have a tunnel vision. We need to have a vision, period. And we need to execute on that vision. And anybody who will stand in the way of progress and stand in the way of your vision need to be left alone. They need to be left in 2019. They are dead weight. We don't need no more dead weight. And in order for that to happen, Black people need to dig somewhere deep in the crevices of their soul to find some type of accountability and use that accountability to hold other people accountable who do wrong to us. Don't worry about other people. Don't worry about how other people feel about us, what other people do to us, because to be quite honest, that's to be expected. At this point in the game, we don't see why that would be any different. Okay? That is to be expected. But I think what hurts the most, and I don't feel that we talk about this enough, and I don't feel like people are being honest with themselves. It hurts worse when we are wronged and dogged and harmed and especially killed by our own people that we should believe are there for us. That thing stings more than any other type of racism, any other type of white supremacy, any type of acts committed onto us by other people. No, okay, that's to be expected. We can move on. We can move past that. Okay, we can build a shield from that. But how do we build a shield from within? How do we build a shield to protect ourselves from our own people? And why should we have to? It don't make sense that we should have to build a shield from us for our own people. That don't make no type of sense. Because not holding Black people accountable for the things that they do to other Black people harmed us tremendously. It contributes to the everlasting pain that we feel as a people. It does not help to heal us. It just perpetuates hurt. It perpetuates dysfunction. And not holding these people accountable is enabling. It's enabling. And one thing that I do not like is I do not like enablers. I don't. I don't like people who coddle people, especially people who coddle grown-ass people who are capable of making their own choices, who it should be assumed should be able to make the right choices for themselves. Okay? I don't like that. I don't like it. You're not protecting these people by doing so. You're only harming them, and you're only allowing this behavior to continue, and you're making them comfortable being handicapped, because that's exactly what it is. You're handicapping these people. And we ain't got time for it. We don't have the time. At this point, I know I want to quell down on my cursing because it kind of sounds unprofessional, but I have to, just real quick. At this point, fuck feelings. I don't give a damn who I'm here to offend. I'm just here to speak my truth, and I'm just here to speak the truth that I think the people need. And whoever receives this message will receive it, and whoever don't, goodbye. It's not for you. I don't have no hard feelings. You could do whatever it is that you do. But make sure that if you have something to say about what it is I'm saying, your life is all the better for it. I'm not saying you have to agree with me. But if you don't, make sure it's the best decision that you can make. Just make sure that the alternative is good for you. And make sure that with that alternative, you are doing something with your life. Okay? Too many people caught up on opinions. Guess what? Facts don't give a fuck about your opinions. I'ma say it again. Facts don't give a fuck about your opinions. Period. They don't. Stop trying to interject your opinion onto people like it's a fact. It's not. Doesn't mean anything. It holds no weight, to be quite honest. A lot of people always like to talk about, oh, I'm a real person. I'm real. If you're real, your actions and your words should match. If you are a real person, don't just talk about it. Be about it. Live it. And I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I'm going to keep it real. If we were as real and as accountable as we claim that we are, do you think that we would have situations like Destiny Harrison and Nipsey Hussle? If we were as real and as accountable as we claim that we are, these people, these lights and these pillars within the community and other lights and pillars within the community would be protected. We will promote self-protection and promote group protection. If we see somebody harming them or we know that somebody is an imminent threat, people around us should feel empowered enough to protect our own people. But we don't have that. If we were as real as we claim that we would be celebrating people's successes and people in the community would feel appreciated. But we're not. As we can see the division between especially Black men and Black women. Not appreciated. If we were as real as we claim that we were, all Black successes would be celebrated. No matter how big, no matter how small, be celebrated. But instead, we have envy and we have jealousy And we have people that always want to one up the next black person. We always want to show out and show off. And we always want to do better. And we always want to see ourselves doing better than other people and show other people that we got it like that and look down on other people and diminish what it is that somebody else is working on. We wouldn't project our own insecurities on our brothers and sisters. We wouldn't. But y'all are real, right? Y'all are really real. Y'all really about that life, right? Don't think so. It wouldn't be hunting season on our own people. We wouldn't have this lack of value of life. We wouldn't have that mentality looming over our own people. We would speak life into ourselves and life into each other. We would have more of a respect or a value of life. But because we have people who literally are in the mentality that they don't value their own life, how can they possibly value somebody else's? How can they possibly value somebody else's life if they don't see a value in their own? Like, it really be getting to me, and it really does piss me off to no end that it be your own people. It really do be your own people. And that's a damn shame. Like I said before, it's expected to deal with racism. It's expected. But like I said, we can kind of, in most instances, say, okay, we can move this way. To protect ourselves from these people, okay, let's do this. Let's do that. And we separate ourselves from them. Bomb. That's expected. We know this. It runs deep. It runs real deep. We know that. But to have an unexpected enemy within family lines, to me, that's just unacceptable. With things like misogynoir and sexism within the black community and the nuances that go along with that. And just the overall, just grossly immense amounts of people who just ain't shit. Know that they ain't shit. And then want to project their ain't shit attitude onto you to make you feel less than because they are less than within themselves. So that's the only way that they can feel better about themselves. And they don't want to see you win. They don't want to see you thrive and prosper because they're not thriving and prosper. And they're not doing what it is that they need to do to thrive and prosper. So the more people they can bring down with them, that damn crabs in the freaking barrel mentality that a lot of us have, it's really killing us. It's killing us. If it ain't physically killing us, it's for damn sure mentally and emotionally and spiritually killing us. And like I said, unfortunately, the best way to remove yourself from a situation like that is to move on. It's to move on from certain people. It's to cut certain toxicities out your life and just worry about yourself and just worry about doing better for yourself and yours first. Don't be worrying about them. Don't be worrying about what it is that they do. Worry about you. Worry about yourself. Before you are pro anything, be pro getting yourself together first. Because a lot of people like to attach themselves to these groups and these other entities outside of their selves when they ain't right within. When they ain't right within. Now, with what I'm about to say, I know a lot of people gonna cancel me, but like I said, I never one day cared about being canceled. I never one day cared about the hate. Never one day cared about people not agreeing with me. That's fine, but I'm still here to speak my truth. The truth isn't always what you want to hear, and what you want to hear ain't always the truth. Believe that. Believe that. But one thing, whether y'all realize it or not, that's an indicator of getting ourselves right within, is we have to. We have it. Okay, for my Caribbean people out there, wagwan, we have it. We have to stop using white supremacy as a crutch and as a reason as to why we can't do better. That mentality in and of itself is killing black people. Now, I know why we have it. White supremacy is the reason why a lot of us are stuck with this. Oh, I can't do this mentality. Oh, woe is me. The white man is keeping me down. I can't prosper because of the white man. White people have everything. White people are taking all of the wealth. White people have this. White people have that. But because white people have this, I can't do that. They're keeping me out of this. They're keeping me out of that. It's this limiting belief. And this lack and limitation type of mentality is the reason, the single reason why we can't do better. And it is learned behavior. This self-deprecating type of mentality, self-loathing type of mentality, self-defeatist type of mentality is the reason as to why we can't do better as a collective. But my thing is, if you have Black people that manage to move out of that mentality and manage to be getting it on their own and doing for themselves, why can't you? They're not any special exception. They did it because they thought they could do it. So they did. As a man thinketh, so is he. I know y'all don't like, a lot of y'all don't like Bible verses and whatnot, and I'm not here to promote Christianity or whatever. It has nothing to do with that. But it's that saying right there, it is the particular truth. As a man thinketh, so is he. Law of attraction. Whether you believe that you can do it or you can't do it, you're right. If you believe that you can do something, you can do it. If you believe that you can't do something, you can't do it. Instead of always focusing on what it is that you can't do and what it is that is limiting you, focus on something that you can do and how you can use that to better yourself. These types of self-deprecating behaviors can be learned. It can be unlearned as well. And I think that people don't realize this. And it's not just Black people that think like that, but any type of self-deprecating, self-loathing, learned behavior. If it's something that can be learned and wired into your system, into your synapses, it is something that can be unlearned and rewired. What happens when a connection to a light goes bad? You can always get a new wire and you can always rewire it. And look, you turn on the light switch, the light is bright again. Having bad wiring is not an end-all, be-all situation, but unfortunately, so many people believe that it is. So many people believe that bad wiring or a bad environment is an end-all, be-all situation. You can change your environment. And if you can't even change your physical environment in the time being, you can always change your internal environment. And I promise you that if you change your internal environment, you will see a change of your external environment, because simply put, your external environment is a reflection of how you are doing on the inside. Your external environment is a physical manifestation of what is going on with you internally. So if you don't find internal peace and you have turmoil and chaos within you, within your mind, within your body, and within your spirit, that will definitely manifest itself on the outside. So I, to that, say, my brother and my sister, you need to seek help within yourself. And some of that stuff, either you could do with a therapist, or you can do with some meditation or journaling, or just sit down and just have a minute where you just woosah and just breathe, stretch, shake, let it go. You know that song, that old hip-hop song, breathe, stretch, shake, let it go. Because you can't keep holding on to these things. And you cannot bring that with you in 2020 if you want to be better and if you want Black people to be better. We have to shed that. I am tired, sick and damn tired of Black people. Whenever we talk about ills within the Black community, I am tired of Black people sounding like some damn white supremacists talking about, oh, well, white people do it too. That's not fair. Why are you always talking about Black people when it comes to violence? White people do it too. White people do it too. I don't know. I really don't know that people don't realize how idiotic they sound. So basically, according to your logic, basically what that it is that you are saying is that just because white people do something too, just because white people harm their own people too, just because white people rob their own people too, it's okay for Black people to do it. It's okay to rob from another Black person who works hard, who busted their ass to get what it is that they got. But because white people do it too, it's fine? What is this? Like some monkey see, monkey do type ish? What is that? Do you not have any personal accountability? Can you not control your own behaviors? Do you not know what right from wrong is? That's universal. That's a universal moral principle. You say you don't like them, but according to that logic, you would need for them to guide your inner behavior. What's that about? Do you not have an internal compass within yourself? Come on now, we're better than that. We're better than that. And like I said yesterday, stop using that talking point as a deflection from real issues. And that's the problem. A lot of us use talking points like that to deflect from the issues within our community. We always like to say, oh, well, white people do it too, or white people did it too and got away with it. We're not talking about white people right now. We're not talking about white people right now. I'm not saying that don't happen within their communities, but what do? They handle it on their own. They deal with their own people. We should not be looking at somebody else as a benchmark of how we should treat ourselves and how we should handle our own behaviors. Nah. That's something that we have to look within ourselves to do, and we have to police ourselves. If we don't trust them to police us, you know what I'm saying? Why shouldn't we be able to police ourselves? We should be able to police ourselves first before any external forces do. That's how it should be. So stop with that whole, oh, white people do it too talking points, because you're doing nothing but enabling the same type of degenerate behavior within the community, and you're perpetuating that same level of degeneracy. Stop it. Cut it out. You sound foolish. You sound like a bloody fool. Stop. I'm sick of that. That pisses me off. Pisses me off to no end. I'm not saying that racism don't exist. I'm not saying that racism don't exist within the justice system. We know that. I know that. I am very well aware of that. But come on now. When is this behavior going to stop? Like I said, no one wants to talk about what's real. Nobody wants to have these conversations. But whenever you guys are ready to have these type of conversations, I'm ready. If y'all want me on a panel, y'all can easily hit me up. If you know somebody who's having a panel who want to discuss these types of things, hit me up. I'll create my notes. I'll do my research. Just hit me up. You can't get ahead with that mentality. I want you all to know that. We cannot get ahead with that type of mentality. We cannot get ahead with that type of mentality. We can't. And I have another saying for y'all. I for damn sure have a lot of sayings. But another saying that I like to say. The devil don't put in work overtime all the time. Say it again. The devil don't put in overtime all the time. Sometimes you be your own devil. You can't keep blaming everybody else for your problems that you created, that you initiated. Sometimes that's all you. For example, you blaming somebody else for the reason why you cheated on your significant other. That wasn't their fault. You had a lack of impulse control. You were impulsive. You wanted to get at every piece of ass that you see. That ain't nobody's fault but your own. You can't blame that other person for cheating. That's all got to do with you. You the one that knew that you was in the relationship. How do you possibly blame somebody else for your inability to be faithful? How? Black people, we got to do better. And also going back to the whole white supremacy tip, just because white people created the environments that we are currently in, don't mean you have to move how they want you to move. That is typical. And I said this yesterday. I said this in that podcast yesterday. How you choose to move and maneuver through these types of environments is a choice. It's a choice. Choose wisely. Other people have. And because other people have and have done it successfully, why can't you? You have the ability to, whether you realize it or not. If you don't realize that, let me as your sister tell you and show you that you have the ability to choose better. If ain't nobody gonna tell you, if you can't realize that within yourself, let me tell you. Because I care about you. And that's the reason why I'm doing this. And that's the reason why I'm speaking on this right now. Because I care. You can move different. You can choose different. You can be different. You just have to. Don't give them the satisfaction by doing what it is that they want or what it is that they expect you to do. No. Flex on them. You like to flex on everybody else, you know. Just give them a 1-2 flex and shut their asses up. Now, it's probably not going to shut their asses up. They're probably going to, feel whatever it is, little thing that they be feeling. But it don't matter. They're not important to you. They not going to stop your success. Don't let them stop your success. Take your power back. Take that power back. Don't give them your power. And you know where you get your power from? your mind within. You have the key. They have a fake key to your success. You got the real key, but you just got to find it within. Dig through all the mud in the trenches and whatnot and find that key to unlock greatness, and that is within. Don't let them keep that from you. Do you know who you are? Do you know where you came from? Do you know who you came from? Don't do that. Don't think like that. Don't be like that. I know it's hard. And I know things like epigenetics does play a role, but come on. At some point, we have to evolve. One thing that I don't understand, a lot of us hate them with a passion, like have a deep distaste for them. But we always talk about them. Isn't that funny? Like, we always talking about them and we hate them. Like I said yesterday, I don't talk about people I hate. They're irrelevant to me. They ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't want to harbor onto that hatred. That doesn't do me any good. But my thing is, whenever white people do something, like engage in like racist activity or racist behavior, we always like to tell white people to check other white people on their racism, right? Whenever it is that a man is committing a sexist act towards a woman, or a man is being misogynistic or misogynoir, we always like to tell men who claim to be the good guys to check their ain't shit friends, right? Check their other men, on their behaviors, right? So why shouldn't the same apply to black people? Why shouldn't we, as black people, check other black people for the ain't shit behaviors that they commit? Why? I don't see this as any different. We need to do the same. We need to call each other out on our bullshit righteously. Don't just call out somebody because they said something about you or they said something that you didn't like. No. Call out people who are knowingly and willingly doing wrong. Don't just call out somebody based on what they say. Call out somebody because of their actions. Because ultimately, actions speak louder than words. You can talk a good game all you want to, but actions hold more weight. Like I said, we can't have these disgusting and degrading actions going on within our community anymore. And anybody who perpetuates these types of actions in 2020 going further it just needs to be obliterated. And we need to disassociate ourselves with these people. Anybody who engages in degenerate behavior, anybody who supports degenerate and dysfunctional behavior and normalizes degenerate and dysfunctional behavior, either casted away or excommunicated or whatever, but we just need to leave them alone and wallow in their own dysfunction and see how well they do. Which brings me to something that is a major, major issue in our community that nobody is talking about, but we need to address. Because once again, it shows us as a collective how we treat each other and how little we appreciate, especially the women and the girls in our community, and how unprotected and vulnerable we are, and how society has made it so, and how we, both men and women in the community, not just men, let me just put it out there, contribute to the harm that is done to our black girls and women. And the face of it is R. Kelly. R. Kelly is the face, unfortunately, of sexual abuse and assault of black girls and women. I know. Y'all finna cancel my ass again, but I don't give a damn. This needs to be said. R. Kelly is just one person, but R. Kelly, unfortunately, because of his fame, he's the face of a microcosm of an issue that usually is swept under the rug in the black community. But true, white people do it too. And if at this point of the podcast, you are still on that whole tip of, oh, white people do it too. At this point, you're a lost soul. Get off my channel. Get off my podcast, because you're a lost cause. If you're still hung up at this point in the game of the fact that white people do it too, and we talking about something harmful in the black community, you gotta go. You one of the ones that I'm talking about that got to go. Because you're not hell-bent on the upliftment of everybody within the black race. You got to go. You just as bad. Rape sympathizers, murder sympathizers got to go. Got to go. Beat it. We ain't got time for this foolishness. Go. Okay, let me bring it back. R. Kelly, like I said, unfortunately, R. Kelly is now the face of sexual assault and abuse of black girls and women in this country. But this is a major problem. But let me talk about Mr. Robert Kelly for a quick second. It is unacceptable. I find that it is extremely unacceptable how R. Kelly has gone on this long without being in jail. Why he is just now in jail and staying in jail, I have no clue. I have no clue as to why R. Kelly, it took y'all this long to really say enough is enough. And even then, still, people still managing to support him. That fool should have been locked up over 30 years ago. My thing is, his behavior is not new. It's not new. Y'all knew about this man and his transgressions a long time ago. He even said it in his music. He had a music video with Public Announcement when he was still with Public Announcement, and one of the lyrics, so help me, literally said, that little hottie Aaliyah's got that vibe. And at that point, he was 27 and she was like 14, 15. What the actual factual hell? What, like, what? Bro, you 27 years old and lusting after a 15-year-old? But you know, you still got some people that blame the 15-year-old girl instead of the 27-year-old grown-ass man who should know better than to be touching on no damn kid. It's like we adultify our little girls and we give the men in our community, especially who do wrong, a pass. What does that say about how we care about and how we value our girls and women? We don't. Not only does society not give a damn, but we don't give a damn about our own girls and women. We don't. Say what you want, say how you feel, but it is what it is. Your actions speak louder than your words. And I find it disgusting that now people all of a sudden want to talk. People all of a sudden want to call him a monster. People all of a sudden want to call him out and call him out in his transgressions. A little bit 30 years too late, huh? Now that the money is gone, now that the money is dried up, you know, now people are trying to use avenues to make money off of it. Nah, I call bullshit on all of that. That part with the most of y'all, I agree with. That is one thing that we can agree on. Now that the money's dried up, now that the fame is dried up, and now he in jail, now y'all want to talk? Now y'all want to say something? It's 30 years, and how many victims too late? The victims would have liked for you to said something 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, and even like 3 or 2 years ago. Had y'all stopped enabling this man and cut this behavior and cut him off at the source when he first started this bullshit, it would have saved a lot of people's lives. A lot of people's lives wouldn't have been affected, and we wouldn't have had as many victims if we would have taken the time out to say, we need to cancel this man. We need to stop this man from harming our girls and harming our women. But as a collective, it seems that we don't care about our girls and our women. Oh, they must have wanted it. Oh, they little fast asses knew what they were getting into. They were girls. Don't strip them of their girlhood. They were girls that didn't know any better. Why do we always assume that little girls should know better? White people already see little black kids as older than they actually are. Do we get that mentality from them too? But we don't want nothing to do with them, right? Like, I swear, some people don't realize, some black people don't realize that they are also agents in white supremacy as well. White supremacists aren't just white. You got black white supremacists, you got Asian white supremacists, Hispanic white supremacists, Arabic white supremacists. Anybody who perpetuates white supremacy is a white supremacist or an agent for white supremacy. And in the black community, we got a lot of agents of white supremacy. We got low-key, a lot of little low-key Cletuses and Uncle Ruckuses, and we don't want to admit it. We like to strip the innocence from our little girls. And little girls and black women don't get the opportunity to be victims. We don't get the opportunity to be innocent. We are always to blame for our victimization. Always, 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 always. Sometimes y'all give boys passes on the foolishness that they do, but little girls and black women never get a pass. Y'all can argue with me, debate me on that, and I guarantee you will lose. Even with the whole Destiny Harrison situation, people still made it her fault as to why she died. Oh, she should have moved out the hood. Oh, she should have had a gun. Are you serious? Well, where was her protection in it? And if you want to blame her, why can't you blame the other people in the community? Why did they have to kill her? Why did they have to take her life over $3,000? Why they had to be hating and envious ass ninjas, huh? Why couldn't the men in her community protect her instead of harm her and steal from her, huh? Since we want to go there. Since we want to go there, I will take it there. Come on now. Like I said, Black lives have to matter to Black lives first. And as it's looking, Black lives don't matter to Black people. But we always like to preach Black Lives Matter. Again, another topic for another episode. That's a whole nother discussion. Let me know in the comment section below if you're ready for that conversation. But I know a lot of y'all aren't. But I'm ready when you are. We just have a serious contempt for Black girls and Black women, and it shows. And I honestly think that it stems from self-hatred. It stems from self-hatred. We hate our Black girls and we hate our Black women because we hate our Black mothers for giving birth to our Black asses. And because we are Black, we are subjugated in society and we hate that. Oops! Did I say that? Yeah, I did. Again, that's another episode for another time. And I actually have a script for that episode. And that episode is actually in the works. So be on the lookout for that. Again, another thing that Black people don't want to talk about. You blame girls' immature minds instead of blaming the minds of immature ass grown men. It don't make no sense and it is unacceptable. And it is this point right here that creates intergenerational pain and intergenerational dysfunction that needs to be stopped. I've come up with 2 reasons as to why this may be true. This may be true for 2 reasons. Like I said, and like I've alluded to, the hatred of women is extremely strong within our community. It is. And you also even have women perpetuating this hatred and jealousy. Because to be quite honest, you have a lot of Black women that are jealous of the success of other Black women. It's evident. So you perpetuate your insecurities onto other women. And I've seen it happen. And it has happened to me. And I'm pretty sure if you are a woman that is listening, most likely it has happened to you. And it's a damn shame. And the second reason is maybe, just maybe, the reason why you blame the victim and not blame R. Kelly or not blame the rapist or the perpetrator is because maybe the same thing happened to you. And as a response, as a defense mechanism, you psychologically justified it to gain your power back. You justified sexual abuse happening to you and said that it's your fault in order to gain your power within the situation. Psychologically, that can happen. That is a defense mechanism. But unfortunately, how we deal with that perpetuates into the current situation that we have. Because to be quite honest, there's a lot of sexual abuse that especially gets swept under the rug within the Black community. Now, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist, and I'm not here to psychoanalyze anybody, but I'm saying it is a theory. It could be, it may not be the case. I'm just saying, it might be. But it doesn't take away from the fact that disgustingly 60% of Black girls are raped by the age of 18. That makes a lot of sense. 60%, I believe. 60%. That's majority of Black girls are raped or sexually assaulted by 18. That's a problem. And that's not even including little boys who are sexually assaulted and raped. And that culminates into another problem that we also don't want to talk about, the sexualization of little boys and how that affects manhood and how that affects men's a sexual drive as they get older and how they don't realize that they were raped when they were kids. That's, again, another topic for another video. I'm just dropping so much gems because it's just so much. It's just so multifaceted. And things are correlated with one another. They're intertwined with one another. It's a lot. And it is a lot to unpack. These are not easy conversations to have. They're loaded conversations. And I think this is the reason why people don't want to have them. But it is necessary in order for us to heal and move forward. We need to have open dialogues about these types of conversations because it is the key to unlocking a lot of the ills and the reason why we feel so much contempt towards one another. It is. But one thing that we have to stop doing is we have to stop caping for rapists and sweeping that shit under the rug. It does nothing for anybody. It does not benefit anybody. It only harms not only the victims, it makes the victims feel like they're not believed. And that translates into the collective consciousness of not believing sexual assault victims. But you are letting rapists run free, and that is never a good look. Letting rapists and molesters run free instead of throwing their asses in the jail, under the jail where they belong. Personally, for rapists, I believe in castration, but that's a bit much. That's just my personal opinion. But, because for most of them, that's a sickness in the mind. That's a sickness. Especially pedophilia, that shit's a sickness. We need to start eradicating degeneracy at the source. And that starts with stopping the enabling and the coddling. Stop. It stops here. We need to go back to being more wholesome with values. And we need to go back to having a familial structure, because that is the structure of the Black family. And you saw when the Black family was destroyed, there goes the integrity of the Black community. Oh, but true mistake, there was white supremacy too. Again, at this point, you're still not taking responsibility and still blaming that shit on white supremacy. Go. Because clearly you're not understanding the point, and you're not understanding how important it is to have accountability. Go. Because if you don't understand it at this point, after I done spelled it out, again, lost cause. God bless you. Good luck with that. In the Black community, we always love to blame a lot of the problems that we have on single motherhood. But I don't hear a lot of these men checking other men for leaving the mothers to be single. Just hardly ever blame on the man. There's always blame on the woman. As a collective, we need to make better choices, especially better choices in dating. And dating people who aren't good people and who wouldn't be suitable to be parents. There are too many people up in the community that are parents that don't need to be parenting no type of damn kids, because all you're doing, again, is further perpetuating degeneracy. I have seen it my damn self with some of these kids. I've seen it. And I feel so bad. But I'm like, the damage that y'all did to a lot of these kids is so far gone, you can't even fix it. But let me wrap this up, because I feel like I've been doing this a little bit too long. I really didn't want to make this a little bit long-winded, but there's just so much to unpack, and there's still so much to unpack. But let me wrap this up by saying this. The mass mentality that a lot of Black people have is that of lack, limitation, hopelessness, and powerlessness. We know where it came from. We don't have to keep saying where it came from. The thing that we should be focused on now, if we want to be better, is how do we combat it? Not even how do we combat this, but how do I combat this? Before we even focus on we, because we are too messed up to even focus on uplifting each other. How do I combat this? And when I and you and he and she worked on fixing themselves, then we can work on we. When there's a good amount of us that fix ourselves, then we can come together and come with like minds and work on a we. But I think we do a lot of things backwards. And that is due to our mentality. And this self-deprecating mentality that we have always points out what it is that we don't have. Oh, we don't have money. There's no opportunities for us. X, Y, Z. Even though there are people in the community who are making money and who have found the opportunities for themselves. Nobody gave a lot of us anything. We had to bust our asses and work for it. So if they can do it, why can't you? They're not an anomaly in this bit. They're not. And we have to realize that even though we are in America, it ain't that damn bad. It's bad, but it ain't that damn bad here than it is in other places in the world. In other places in the world, poverty is a lot worse. And it's a lot worse for Black people elsewhere than it is here. In Africa, you still have people that are being enslaved, like physically enslaved. So appreciate what it is that you have here. Realize that you can build here, despite what people are telling you and what lies they're feeding you to keep you down, because that's exactly what they want to do. Know that you can do a lot here. But in retrospect and looking at other cultures and other places in the world, we do have it better. We do. We do. We can't deny that. And we can't just it's all a matter of perspective. Perspective. But a lot of us don't realize that. I don't think a lot of us are taught to think that way, but it really is a matter of perspective. And once you realize that, despite the ills and despite the trials and tribulations, you realize that you do have it better, and you should be appreciative of that. Now, knowing that, and knowing what it is that I have discussed with you in this podcast, and seeing other Black people thriving and doing their thing and living their best life, if you still don't see how you can, and you still blaming other people for your problems and your shortcomings and perpetuating your insecurities onto other people, at this point I can't help you. At this point, nobody can help you. If you can't even help yourself, and if you can't see what it is that you have and what it is that you can do and who it is that you can be, again, I just see you as a lost cause. I just do. I do. Because it's like, at this point, if you can't and you don't see that, you just don't want to at this point. And then I also feel that if you feel that way, you don't have the right to complain. You just don't. You just don't. Like I said, don't be attaching yourselves to these types of groups and these people. Don't be pro this and pro that, anti this and anti that. Be pro getting yourself together first. Get yourself together first before you help other people, or you try to be a purveyor of justice, or you try to be like a superhero or something. Get yourself together first, and make sure your stuff is together first before you go around helping anybody. Because you can't help anybody. You are of no use to anybody if you are a hot mess your damn self. And like I said, we can't expect to change any type of group consciousness without changing the individual consciousness. And the last thing that I want to say, which Black people, we need to be cognizant of, because a lot of us don't want to think for ourselves, or we fall under the charisma of other people. We don't want to think for ourselves. And because we don't want to think for ourselves, or we let other people think for us without doing our own research, you don't realize when somebody is either leading you to greener pastures or leading you to your own damnation. Because some of us, the people that we be following, we be thinking to have good intentions, but their intentions are not pure, and they be leading us straight to hell. Straight to hell. Choose wisely. Don't just blindly follow behind people because they sound good and they sound promising and they sound influential and like they sound like they have this stuff together. People can sound like they have it together all the time, but do they really? Are they really about something? I would never promote anybody just blindly following behind anybody, even me. You may like what I say, and that's cool. But I'm not saying you have to like it and you have to agree with everything I say. I wouldn't expect you to. We got to get rid of this, oh, if you're not here for us 100%, you are against us mentality. That shit got to go, because it doesn't promote individual consciousness. Now, there are multiple ways to skin a cow. There are multiple ways to solve a problem. You could be right and they could be right. Just because you're right doesn't mean that they're wrong. Just because they're right doesn't mean that you're wrong. You could both be right. It is possible. But don't let somebody tell you that, oh, you can't think that way, because if you think that way, oh, you're not here for us. No, done. You should be very wary of anybody who tries to limit individual thought. Always be very wary of somebody that tries to control and quell and try to censor individual thought. I'm forewarning you, be wary of those types of people. Be wary of people who have this like pack-like mentality. Think for yourself. Do your own research. Pick and choose the things that people say that apply to you. If it applies to you, cool. If it don't, discard it. That's what I do. I'm not a follower behind any of these YouTubers. I hold what the things that it is that they say that apply to my life and disregard the things that don't. We have to learn how to use discernment, and a lot of us have lost our sense of discernment, which is why we are in a lot of the predicaments that we are in that cause dysfunction and disunity. Is that even a word, disunity? I don't know. But we're not unified because of it. Don't perish behind some fool that just wanted to give you dreams of a promised land, and they the ones that are the devil reincarnate themselves. Don't do it. Always err on the side of caution. That's what I'm gonna say, black people. Think for yourself, think critically, and always err on the side of caution. And most importantly, protect yourself. Protect yourself by all means. Because it's real out here. It's real out here. And we need to make a change now and make a change soon before it is too late. And that, my friends, is the end of this podcast episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you were one of the real ones to make it to the end, thank you guys so much. What was it about the podcast that stuck out with you the most? Put a timestamp in the comment section below of the parts that resonated with you the most and then we need to work on. Is there anything in the podcast that I did not mention, perhaps that we need to work on or that you would want me to talk about? I'm open to any type of comments and any type of suggestions in the comment section below, because I'm all about growth and I'm all about the upliftment of people, but I know that we can't do it as a collective until we get right within. What do you think that black people need to work on in 2020 besides accountability? I want to know what you guys are feeling in the comments below. Please be sure to like and support the Black Tapes by any means. Please give a like. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, and press the notification button so that you can be notified whenever a new episode drops. And if you're listening on any other podcasting station, be sure to, subscribe to your girl. And again, just be down for the cause. I appreciate all you guys' support. Thank you guys so much. And you are tuned in to the Black Tapes. It is your girl, True Mystique, aka the Golden Enigma, aka the Real. And I'm going to see y'all on the next tip. Happy New Year, you guys. I hope this new year is prosperous for you. I'm going to see y'all on the flip side. I'm going to talk to y'all in the new year. Peace.